Hello, anybody watching? My name is Dylan and I like to build houses in The Sims 4. Today I am continuing on with my Wisteria Lane house series, and today we have 4351 Wisteria Lane. This house goes through a couple of different owners as the show goes on. I don't remember who first lives here in the first season. In fact, I don't think they even show the house in the first season. And then in the second season, right at the very end of the first season, like within the last 15 seconds of the season 1 finale, I believe it shows the Applewhite family moving into this house, and they are the mystery of season 2. Each season of this show has a different mystery, and the Applewhites are season 2 mystery. And it was kind of a big deal at the time because Betty Applewhite is the first black housewife in the TV show. And then it was a little bit controversial because she was the first black housewife here, and then her storyline was very strange. I mean, the show has been over for quite some time, so if you haven't seen it, make sure you watch it, but I'll say a spoiler right now. She has her son, one of her sons, like chained up in the basement of this house. And so when they first move in, they move in the middle of the night so nobody can see, who they are or what they're hiding, and that is the mystery. But it didn't really get very good reviews. The whole Applewhite mystery is kind of one of those things that people don't really like to talk about because it was just strange. Season 2 as a whole is not really that great. There was a pretty noticeable dip in like the quality of the writing. And I say that as somebody who, I don't write scripts for TV shows. I don't know what goes into it. So I'm not going to pretend like I could have written a better show or anything. But, longtime fans do know season 2 is definitely a strange season as far as story goes, and characters kind of do things that are a little bit out of character in season 2. But they get back on track in season 3. Season 3 is definitely a really good season, especially when you compare it to season 2. I like season 2 though because it really goes deep into Bree's storyline, and like I've said multiple times, she is my favorite character on the show. So if you are watching Desperate Housewives, season 2 is definitely worth a watch. But just know that it's maybe not quite up to par with the phenomenal season that is season 1. But it did give us more of a look into this house, which is great, because I think this house turned out super, super cute. At least, the exterior of it is very pretty, and it really, really matches the whole, Sims 4 aesthetic. Now, as far as the interior goes, though, I couldn't quite remember how the Applewhites designed the interior of it. If I remember correctly, they don't really show the interior of this house all that much in season 2, except for kind of like on the stairs of the basement, which reminds me, I did not include a basement in this house, but whatever, if you want one, you can definitely put one in. But I couldn't quite remember how they decorated it. But I did remember just a little bit that Betty plays the piano very, very well. In fact, she plays the piano at Bree's husband's funeral, which takes place very early in season 2, if not the first episode of season 2. So she plays piano, so I did put the piano in that kind of octagonal room. You'll see it in a little bit, me doing the interior, and that's where I decided to put the piano. And then after season 2, I think the house, it either sits vacant or there's just a character in there that's not part of the show, so it doesn't really matter. But a gay couple moves into this house in season 4, and they're not part of the mystery or anything of season 4, but they are just kind of around, and then they're in the show for the rest of the show, which is kind of nice because Desperate Housewives does definitely have a long history of introducing characters for one season and then they just go away and you don't hear from them ever again. But the gay couple, Bob and Lee, I think are their names, They do stick around for the rest of the TV show from season 4 onwards, which is nice. And they're not huge characters or anything, but they're a welcome presence. Like, I don't really think that they're huge fan favorites, but they're okay for who they are. They're fine. They end up getting married at the end of season 4. It's part of the finale, although it's not them getting married. That's not the finale, but it plays into the storyline. And Lynette and Tom end up like convincing them that they should get married because they have like a little falling out over a cake, and I think Lee is like, we can't get married because we can't agree on this cake, and something like that. So that happens in season 4, and they move in. And then also in season 4, there's like a small part of the show, of a couple episodes, is Bob and Lee wanting to put in a fountain in the front yard. And I realized this after I built the house that I completely forgot about the fountain, but it's whatever. So they put in this fountain in the front yard, and everybody thinks it's like the ugliest thing. Like, oh my god, they've got this gaudy fountain that's really kind of destroying the look of the town, or destroying the look of the lane, and we have to get it off of here. And so there's kind of like controversy on the lane as to whether or not they should be able to keep this fountain, and some of the housewives are going back and forth on it. I think Susan is initially for the fountain being in the front yard, and then it turns out that when they turn the water on, like, it's super loud, and so eventually she has to be like against them having the fountain because it interferes with her husband Mike's sleep. The gay couple ends up not liking her, I think, for like an episode or two, but then they all work it out, and in typical Desperate Housewives fashion, I mean, eventually they get along, and it's whatever. I think in season 4, that's also when the tornado happens, which I described in my last Desperate Housewives video. Tornado happens like mid season 4, and what's hilarious is like there's a scene where the tornado like destroys the fountain, and it's supposed to be like played for laughs because like just a couple episodes before that like the fountain was the whole point of the episode itself, and then just a little bit later this ugly, tacky, gaudy fountain is just destroyed by a tornado. It is kind of funny, and then they never talk about it ever again. As far as this house goes, I haven't really talked about the house in game yet, actually. I don't really think the interior and the furnishings really match what is suggested in the TV show. I couldn't remember how Bob and Lee designed the interior of the house, and there really isn't all that many interior shots of this house anyway. I did see a couple after I was finishing up. I think that showed the wood floor is dark, and they have more like modern furniture than what I put in here. I think they have like an orange couch, an orange nice couch that's actually about where like the kitchen is, where I put the kitchen down there. So that was, I guess, kind of an error on my end. I could have maybe done a little bit more research before I started doing the floor plan, but it works. You'll see me go through the interior of this a couple of times. I change it a few times. Like right now I've got that pretty tan wood floor. I think I change it later in the video to be the dark wood, and then I go back. I think when the video is not recording, I went back and I changed it again. My initial plan was to first design the house like the Applewhites, and she has a similar style to Brie, so it was originally going to look very traditional and kind of uppity, and then I was going to change it to be more like Renee Perry's house, if you remember what her house looked like, because I figured Bob and Lee are really good friends with Renee Perry, so I was thinking, oh, well, maybe I'll design it really similar to Renee Perry's house to kind of tie the two houses together, and then just say that, oh, Renee Perry got her style influence from Bob and Lee. That would make sense. So I think you end up seeing me design the dining room very similar to Renee Perry's house, but then I just decided not to because I just didn't really like it all that much. And then I did put the piano in the that octagonal room, like I said. Even though I don't really think Bob and Lee have their own piano. If they do, it's not really shown. And my guess is they'd actually probably have more of like a keyboard instead of like a grand piano. But I did put one in because I figured it's such a pretty house that it just kind of needs its own piano. So I just really like the way it turned out. Other than that, I mean, you can see me doing the bathrooms here, and I did keep the bathrooms just base game only, like I usually do. And even though I was going through this house multiple times and changing multiple things about it, I did end up keeping the bathrooms like what you see here. It's in the actual house itself. But as far as like packs go for this house, I did kind of use a lot of them. Sometimes, you know, depending on the house, I decide to not use that many packs. Sometimes I do use a lot of them. I think in the last one, I didn't use too many. And in this one, I didn't use like a whole lot of packs, but I did use a pretty fair amount, so keep that in mind. And if you want to download this house, you can certainly find it on my gallery, just like you can find the rest of the Wisteria Lane houses. Just type in Carl Dillinson and you'll find it there. Or Wisteria Lane. A lot of times you can find my houses by typing in that as well. You can certainly find a lot of other people who have taken my houses and downloaded them and then re-uploaded them on their own gallery, which is fine. I mean, that's kind of what happens when you when you upload really pretty houses. People tend to take them and use them as their own and try to pass them off as their own. But keep that in mind too. If you're going through and the username is not the same as here on YouTube, then it's not exactly the version that you're seeing here. It's a fan created version, I guess. We'll leave it at that. But this house ends up having 4 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms. You can see me furnishing a bathroom on the 2nd floor there. And again, the bathrooms are base game only. So it is quite large, although the bedrooms on the 2nd floor, maybe you'll see in a little bit, 2 of them are on the smaller side, and they're quite strangely shaped, I should say. They're just kind of weird. I mean, I like the floor plan of this house a lot. I think it's really cute and really nice. But I think in real life, if this house you were able to go inside, I don't think this is probably what the floor plan would look like, just because it makes the bedrooms on the 2nd floor just a little bit too crammed. And you'll be able to see I did end up furnishing 3 out of 4 of the bedrooms. I left one of them blank, but there is plenty of space for a bed and a dresser and stuff like that. Or if you wanted to make it like an office or something, you could do that as well. Although there is a desk with a computer on the 1st floor in the living room. And the living room has a fireplace too. So this house, there's definitely enough space for a pretty decent sized family, but keep in mind that the bedrooms on the 2nd floor are a little bit oddly shaped, and they are a little bit hard to customize to your liking just because of the shape, but they're cute and you can get some nice screenshots. And I guess if you're really looking for an exact replica of like the Desperate Housewives interior, you can find pictures on your own and do it. I've noticed most of the time when people are looking for these types of houses, houses that are based on something, they mostly care if the exterior looks correct, and if there's like really famous rooms in the interior, they care about that. But they tend to not really care about the interior of a house. If you don't see the interior that much, then there's not really that much to care about. So I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at here. And one real quick thing is, with this house, I've actually built it on the 30 by 30 lot in Newcrest. So unfortunately, it doesn't really fit in with the neighborhood that I've been creating in the last couple of videos. If you remember back to my my Wisteria Lane tour video, all 5 of those houses were supposed to be together, and they do go together. And I am currently working on the second part of that, and they were supposed to be in the smaller little neighborhood part of Newcrest, but this house, just with the size of it, I wasn't able to fit it in the neighborhood that I was expecting to. So this house ended up being put on the 30 by 30 lot that Susan's house goes into, and it's kind of unfortunate that if you want to download all, I believe I'll have 10 houses done. If you want to download all 10, you're not going to be able to have all 10 sitting in Newcrest like I originally anticipated, but you know, it is what it is. I did the very best I could. You don't really need this house if you want to make your own Wisteria Lane, but if you do want it, I guess you have to decide if you want 4353, which is Susan's, or this one. Either one is a good addition. Either one is super cute. I'm really proud of both of them. It just is kind of a shame that I wasn't able to get them all into Newcrest like I wanted to. Like I said, that was one good thing about Sims 3 and Sims 2, is that you're able to place lots down where you want. And it really allows for better neighborhood customization than Sims 4. I mean, that's nothing new. If you've been playing Sims 4, you already know that there is that lack of neighborhood customization, which is kind of a shame. But I did the very best that I could with the limited amount of neighborhood customization. So, and the fact that there is only one 30 by 30 lot in all of like the base game, and in fact there might even be just one 30 by 30 lot in like the entirety of Sims 4, at least in the packs that I have, because I don't have all the packs, like I've said multiple times. There's only that one 30 by 30 lot in Newcrest, if I'm remembering correctly, and that really kind of boggles my mind, because 30 by 30 lots are like that. To me, that's very basic. When I was building in Sims 3, basically every house that I built was on a 30 by 30 lot, and the fact that we're in Sims 4 now, and Sims 4 has been around for 6.5 years, and there's only, as far as I know, one 30 by 30 lot, I kind of think that's like almost unacceptable, where it's like, why? It just seems like an oversight. There's so many things with Sims 4 that just seem like an oversight. I'm recording this on December 8th, and I think the skin tone update just came out today, either today or yesterday, and that's like another thing where it's just like a weird oversight that it took them this long to get like a decent skin tone slider or decent skin tones in the game. Why does it take this long? Also, why are we now 6.5 years into the game and we still don't have like very many good lots to build homes on and build businesses on? Like, I don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful or just like complaining to complain, but as someone who only builds in Sims 4, it is a little bit frustrating to me that we only have one 30 by 30 lot, because that's my favorite lot to build on, is 30 by 30, and there's only one, and it's in Newcrest, and now it made it so my Wisteria Lane, you can't have all of the houses together, and it's just frustrating to me, because I don't even know what to say past that anymore. It's just like really, that's what we're doing here? That's how we're gonna have the game, and we're 6 years in? I don't know. Who knows? I'm just going off on a tangent now. I do love Sims 4, but that has frustrated me as the years have gone on. But oh my word, with that, we are already at the screenshots. I'm gonna sign off here so I don't end up talking your ear off. If you like what you see and want to see more, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I would love it if you would subscribe, but I will still love you even if you don't. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day.